My name is Josh Aufrichtig, and today I'm going to be demonstrating to you the Appian low-code platform. Let's get right into it. We begin logged in as a claim manager at York Re, a sample reinsurance organization. Now, as a claim manager, I need to have oversight into all aspects of the claim lifecycle. And so when I log in, I'm presented with a tailor-made landing page unique to my role that unifies everything that I need to know and everything I need to do in one single place. I'm able to find the health of the different processes that are running across the claims lifecycle. I can see individual requests that are occurring in each of those processes at the bottom left corner of the screen. This data happens to live in an external third-party system, and yet we're still able to source it and bring it on the screen so that the person has access to it right from here. I'm able to take various actions. I can start new business processes, like creating a new claim on behalf of a customer. I can even change the settings and change perhaps who needs to approve what in order for us to complete a payment. Finally, in the bottom right corner, I have my tasks. This is everything that's been assigned to me and the teams that I either lead or I'm a part of, all unified in one place. Now, when I open this screen, there's something that really points out, and that's the red area on the left side under intake. It's been flagged. It's telling us that we are taking, on average, we're taking 15 days above our SLA in order to complete this. That's a clear problem. Now, traditionally, what I would do next is either start asking around, interviewing people, and getting anecdotal evidence to guess why that is happening. Or maybe I'd go and request budget to start a new problem to do data analysis that would take a really long time and, again, money in order for me to solve this problem. With our recent acquisition of Lana Labs, we have a better way to do this that produces better certainty and speed in order to diagnose our problems. This is Appian's process mining. And specifically what we're looking at here is a diagram explaining to us the sequence of events that happen when a new claim comes in. The way this was created is our process mining technology is able to connect to the disparate systems that we have in our organization. It's able to look into those and see what activities are occurring, in this case relating to claim intake. And then using machine learning, it's able to create this visual, easy to understand diagram telling me what's actually happening. I want to emphasize this is a game changer for our customers, as again, now they're able to take a data-driven analytical approach in order to diagnose any of their problems that might require automation. In this specific diagram, we have a couple of interesting takeaways. In the middle here, we see that the copy claim details into our legacy system has an arrow pointing out of it that's red. That's a clear bottleneck in the process, as it's taking 17 days for that event to occur. And if we notice before that, there are even scenarios where the person who needs to do that copying doesn't have access to the system, adding additional time. You'll also notice we have a large red arrow going backwards in the process. When we look a little bit closer, we see that there's a step where a person has to manually type in the details of a claim document into the system. And what we notice later on is that they're incorrectly typing things in, making typos, or not including all of the details that are needed later on, adding rework, and costing us a lot in going back and adding additional time to the claim process. The last thing that's really noticeable is the first step, where we're losing 4 days every single time a new claim document comes in just to have a person merely look at it and classify it as either a claim or not a claim. Now, this tells us a lot of really useful information and helps us fully understand the problem, but in order to solve it, what we need is workflow. And so, fortunately, what we can do is go over to our target model that is auto-generated in our process mining. And if this looks familiar, that's because it is in business process modeling notation, or BPMN, which works perfectly with the Appian process modeler, as we'll be able to import it right into here and start as quickly as possible designing our better solution. Now, here in our process modeler, you'll notice in the bottom left corner that, again, we're taking 45 days end-to-end for us to complete the claim intake. What I'm going to do next is look at each of the individual jobs that happen in this process. We're going to consider the nature of the work that needs to be done, and then we're going to allocate the best digital worker based upon the digital worker's capabilities. We begin with the determine document type step, where again, a person is looking at the claims document and they're really just classifying it as a claim or something else. This is something that can be easily automated through Appian's artificial intelligence that with virtually 100% accuracy, it's able to classify documents like this without a person being involved. And so we're going to free up this person, remove them from the process, and instead we're going to drag out an activity for us to systematically classify the document using AI. Now, once we've determined that it is actually the claimed kind of document that we expect it to be, the next step is for a person to extract the details. This is another activity that absolutely can be automated. Now, some organizations use optical character recognition, or OCR, in order to do this, but what our customers have told us is that in real production environments, the types of documents that come in are especially complex, and a lot of times they're formatted in different ways. In this reinsurance use case, our clients are different insurers, and they all have different formats. Because that's the case, we responded to our customers and we built our own document extraction that uses machine learning and is able to handle different formatting of documents and still be able to process it. And as it processes more, it'll learn more and be more successful with what it is able to extract. And so again, I'm going to free up another person from doing the work, and we're going to drag out our document extraction smart service and reduce our process by even more time. So far, we've automated the classification and extraction steps. You'll notice in the bottom left that that's reducing 4 and 2 days, 6 total days already from our end to end. And now, at the next step, after we've done our extraction, even though our machine learning model is going to be very successful with extracting the data points, there's still going to be scenarios where you're going to want to have a human be in control of the process. You might have a new document come in that looks completely different. Maybe the field names won't be there, and we're going to want to have a person involved to make sure that all the information is still correct. In those scenarios, we simply will assign them a task. We've been assigning tasks to people for a long, long time, and with each of those tasks that are assigned out, we'll give them an email notification with a link right to that task. And we'll also give them a screen like this one here where they'll have a unified look at all of the tasks that they've been assigned across the entire life cycle of the claims process. Again, we're unifying right here every process that you've built to one screen so that people can find what tasks they need to complete in a prioritized manner right from one place. When we open up our task to reconcile the claim extraction, we're brought to a screen with our main artifact that we're focusing on, the claim document, right front and center. On the left side, we find that the machine learning has successfully extracted most of the details. We have our claimant name, we have the type. It even went through a table of items and was able to parse through all of that and get all of the data points successfully. It found our totals at the bottom of the screen that we need to capture, and it even was able to get my signature down at the bottom. However, at the very top, we notice there's 2 fields that are missing. One of them is the reinsured company. And in this case, Boylston Insurance thought it would look nice for them to put their name on the right side in this vertical format. And so the machine learning model hadn't seen it before and wasn't able to pick it up. No problem at all. As the user who's reconciling the document here, I can simply hover over their name. And as you can see, it gets auto-populated into the field, not running the risk of me making a typo. Next time around, the machine learning model will be smarter, and it'll know that the reinsured company field might be there, and this step of me doing the reconciliation might not even be required anymore. Now, there's another field missing, policy number, and that's a bit different. The policy number, if you look closely, doesn't appear anywhere on this document. This is a really common scenario where there's a data point that a person needs. In order to get it, they would traditionally need to go into some third-party system in order to go find it, doing a lookup on Boylston or something else in order to find the right value. With Appian, it's a bit different. Since we have a flexible low-code platform that's very much open, we're able to quickly and easily integrate with those third-party systems and bring that data right on the same screen so that the user can stay in one place to do their work. What I'm going to do next is leave the area where I'm doing the work and go back into my application designer where we're building apps. And as you can see here, the same screen, now we're editing that task that I was working on, and we're going to add in 2 elements. We're first going to add a section in that's going to show us all of the policies that relate to this Boylston Insurance customer that we have. I'm going to make it collapsible. I'm going to add a little bit of styling and make it collapsible. I'm also going to add in a grid here so that we can show the user all of the results that come back. It's not just going to be one item, but it might be multiple, and so the grid allows us to show us an entire list. Now in this example, I'm going to reuse an integration that we built using one of our no-code connectors to Salesforce as one example of the many types of integrations that we can use. As I start typing in the name of the integration, it finds my integration that I've already built, and it's going to ask me for the one input of the search term, and that's going to be Boylston, the customer that we already found that we're working with. When I create this, what's going to happen in the back end now is Appian is going to go out and look into Salesforce to find the relevant data points. And when I open now in my preview mode, I can review the document once again. I see my policy number is empty and I need to enter that in. And so I simply open up my policy table. I find the Boylston Insurance policy that matches the same location and type, New York and excess of loss, and I can simply put in the policy number into the field. One other thing that's especially notable, this screen and all others in Appian, is that there are going to be validations on anything that the user interacts with. And so in this example with the policy number, if I was to put in this new value, but then I accidentally add an extra Z, you can see it's going to stop me. It won't let me move forward until I have the data point correctly. We know policy numbers are always 18 digits, so that we are not faced with data quality issues later on, and again, faced with rework to go back and steps in the process. The last element of this that's especially notable, as it's been talked about already today, is that everything that we interact with on Appian is immediately going to be accessible on tablet and mobile devices for iOS and Android. We found, especially during the pandemic, that work has changed not only from the office space to work from home, but also people are doing their work a lot more often from their mobile devices. Fortunately, Appian works perfectly with this, as we already are enabled on all of these devices. And you can see in this example, if I want to complete this task from a mobile device, I'm able to easily do that. I'm able to see all of the same things, including a Salesforce integration, machine learning extracted details, the document, and we've even added in this example an extra signature component for when people are interacting with a mobile device. This signature could be really useful, for example, in a scenario where maybe an insurance company has a claim adjuster going on site reviewing an incident. They might need to take some pictures and enter in details, which they can do all from their phone, don't need to bring a computer. And then maybe they sign off on their activity with this digital signature so that it's uploaded and tied to the case. Coming back to the business process, after we've successfully classified the document and extracted the details, the next step is the biggest bottleneck in our process, and that's copying the claim data into our legacy claim system. In this kind of scenario where we have a legacy technology, it can be especially costly in order to build integrations to it. And so Appian's digital worker for completing that, instead of making our customers build the expensive integrations, is to use a robotic process automation, or RPA bot. And so that's what I'm going to include next. What an RPA bot is what it's really doing is it's going to mimic human behavior, taking the actions that I would when going into that other system, and by using it, we're able to remove non-value-add activity, repetitive tasks that often include the interaction with these legacy systems from a person's workload. What I'm going to show next is what this actually looks like. We're going to go into our robotic process automation, and I'm going to show you how would I train a bot to go and do this, and then we'll see the bot actually in action. We open up our legacy claim system, and when I do that, I'm opening it up with our recorder that will track all of the activities that I do interacting with the system. You'll notice that as I start clicking things, typing things, and doing any interaction, on the right side, things are going to change. I put in my username and password, which we can encrypt and keep in a secured way like all other aspects of our platform. And then as I start doing my interactions, again, in my legacy claim system, totally outside of Appian, the recorder is continuing to track all of the activities that I do. as I put in my details like Boylston Insurance, and maybe I need to add a certain number of line items, it's tracking all of that on the right side so that next time around, I don't need to be the one going into the claim system. The bot can do all of these actions for me. Now, I'm going to jump out of the training kind of area, and we're going to see how this runs. Again, this would occur as one step within a larger business process where we already have a lot of the data points we need. And as you can see here, with my hands up, I'm not clicking on anything. It's taking over for me and doing all those actions that it's been trained to do. It puts in my credentials, it chooses to create a new claim, and now all of those details we extracted from our claims document and that we reconciled and add additional details are being populated in. It even can handle scenarios where you have those multiple items and you don't know how many are going to occur beforehand. In this case, we had 3, but it could have been 300 and it would have worked all the same. After it's done, it's going to communicate back to the workflow that it's been successful, and we'll be able to now automatically move on to the process without a person ever having to come in touch with the legacy claim system anymore. The last step of our process is to update our CRM, and that's actually the easiest part. We've already built an integration with Salesforce, our CRM in this case, and so all we need to do now is reuse that integration using our no-code connectors in order to do that update. So again, I'm going to free up this task from a person's plate, and we're going to drag out our call integration node. And in order to configure this to do the update, we merely click into our activity, we go to the Setup tab, we find our reusable integration object for updating our client, and with that, the logo appears showing the connectivity between Appian and Salesforce for doing the update. Now, in summary, by doing these changes, moving human activity to our digital workers, we've effectively reduced all of the human work in every step, except for the one where we want to have a human in control for reviewing claim details. And the end-to-end time has gone from the 45 days to really just this 5 that we have remaining. And so when I come back to my landing page, you can see that the changes I've made have updated the screen. We no longer are being flagged for our intake area, and everything we're doing is within our SLAs. So to summarize, what we've done today is we found a problem, and we used process mining in order to discover and diagnose the issue. We designed a better process rapidly using low code. And then finally, we took automation using workflow, the best orchestrator of worker types, in order to find additional efficiencies.